fell on my shoulders to maybe make a short speech about Mark. I've been wondering what to say. It had been exercising my mind. And then when I came in this morning, it's all here. I don't really need to say a lot, but I am going to say something. In 2009, Christ Church URC, as we were then, went into vacancy. Christine Fowler, then minister, left and moved down south. So we came into vacancy. That was in 2009. And then in 2011, and very unusually for the United Reformed Church, we were offered two names, Mark being one of them. We had the privilege of being able to interview both potential ministers. And we chose Mark. And we chose Mark because we knew that the church here had to change. We were a declining congregation. We were going to have to either merge with another United Reformed Church or move into ecumenical partnership. And what had Mark been doing just before wanting to return to pastoral charge? He'd been at Churches Together in England as the secretary for the Free Churches group. So we thought Mark's experience in dealing with Churches Together would be invaluable in terms of taking us forward. So we were very pleased when Mark accepted the call. And initially, it was for half scope, for a 3-year contract. There were 5 churches in the cluster at the time, with between them 2.5 ministers. Kevin Jones, who was at Knoll and Digbeth, decided to leave and join the army as a chaplain. So we then had potentially 5 churches with 1.5 ministers. Knoll and Digbeth decided to do their own thing. So we came down to 3 churches. The churches at Bolton, Hobbsmoat and Solihull. And Neil Eldridge, who was minister at Bolton and Hobbsmoat, moved on. So we were left with Mark. I should learn to phrase things. When I'm talking off the cuff, I always get it wrong. But over the years, we've had to extend Mark's contracting, shall we say, because it was initially for 3 years, and he's been here now for 8, and he has done a marvellous job in terms of pastoral ministry here and in terms of helping to bring 3 churches together. You've done a splendid job, Mark. We've been extremely grateful for all you've done. Your experience has been invaluable. Jack of all trades, yes. We turn up, things have been done when we weren't expecting them to have been done. They've been done, sorted. So yes, very good. We like Mark a lot. And it's going to be difficult for us because he's moving on. And that's one of the unfortunate consequences of the United Reformed Church, is that the ministers have to move away from the area that they're used to. Now Mark's not going very far. He's going, what, a dickens of a distance. So he's still in Solihull. He no doubt will be bumping into him when he gets to the shops on the other side of the Warwick Road. Whether he'll ever find it possible to come across to this side of the Warwick Road, I don't know yet, but you're more than welcome to return any time. Whilst Mark has been here I said he joined on half school. The other half of his time, he helped us get started the Generations project in Solihull, which is taking ministry out into care homes. Now, it wasn't just the local clergy visiting their local members in care homes, it was going beyond that in terms of taking the ministry of word and sacrament for the whole of the population within a care home should they wish to partake. It wasn't just for our members, it was for anybody interested in looking for the love of God. So Mark, well done for starting the Generations project. And the other major success is the Moments Cafe. That has been a marvellous insight, and I think everybody who gets involved with Moments on a Monday morning finds it very rewarding to help people who are later in life, who perhaps at times don't quite know whether it's Monday or Wednesday or Friday. So again, thank you, Mark, for all that you've done in that respect. So I first met Mark in 2011, and over the years it has been a privilege to be with you, to know you and Judy, because let's face it, you don't get a good minister without a good minister's spouse. So Judy, thank you also for all that you have done for the church whilst you've been here. In particular, taking the hospital pass of the church hall letting. When Frank, who somewhere here, there's over at the back, Frank retired as church warden. Frank had been used to doing all the room letting here, and Judy took it on when Frank retired. So it was a bit of a thankless task really, Judy, but thank you very much for all your hard work there. Mark thinks he's moving into retirement. I moved into retirement 3 years ago. Jackie doesn't think so. I'm still busy on other things. This isn't what retirement was meant to be like. So I was getting involved in all sorts of things. So I'm just warning you, Mark. You might no longer be in the stipendiary ministry, but you'll be involved in all sorts of other ways in the future, unless you're very, very strong-willed and say no, no, no. So, on behalf of Solihull United Reformed Church, I'd like to thank you for your time here and wish you all the best in retirement. And to pick up on a theme from this morning, when you walk through a storm, hold your head up high and don't be afraid of the dark. So Mark, here from Solihull United Reformed, Solihull United Reformed Church, a card which has been signed, possibly not by everybody, but as many people as we could find, and also a little gift. Don't spend it all in the one shop. But that's for you, and there's also a gift for Judy as well. So my lovely assistant Bridget is going to bring that forward. I know that Steve Faber would like to say a few words as well.
It occurs to me that some of you might be wondering who I am, so let me begin by saying that for those that don't know. My role is the Synod Moderator for the West Midlands Synod of the United Reformed Church. My name is Steve, And it's my great delight to be able to just take these couple of minutes, and I will be brief, to thank you. Mark, when we were speaking in the week about some of the challenges that you faced throughout your ministry, but most particularly whilst you've been here at Solihull, the challenges that you've embraced, I have to say. We were hearing earlier on in church about some of those experiences, and as you were explaining some of the things that you have done, as represented by the little banner in front of us, over the last 37 or so years of ordained ministry, you were telling us about how you've exercised a ministry of people and of place and of change. But it was good to hear how all of that ministry has been underpinned and overgirded and surrounded in every direction by that knowledge and the application of the gospel of grace and forgiveness and new life. So I'm trying not to say it's a delight to be able to say, because it's not, because we don't want to say goodbye to you. But it's certainly a privilege to be able to be asked to come and say just these few words to honour your service and to thank you and to thank God for all that you've given of yourself to this ministry. And Judy, we want to thank you as well, because you've ministered in your own right, and we've been very grateful for what you've done in this church and in the wider community as well. Mark, I think you were telling us something of a bluffer's guide to ministry this morning, and your natural humility was shining through. But I think you may have just underplayed some of your own talents, which you have brought to bear and which you have shared with us, and for which we are deeply grateful. So we would certainly agree that through all of that, the glory goes to God. It's not about us, as you started off by saying in church this morning. It's not about me, it's about God. And it was wonderful to be able to share this occasion with you. So, as you go on behalf of the West Midlands Synod, on behalf of the wider United Reformed Church, we thank you, Mark, for what you've given us. Bless you as you go into your retirement, and as Gordon rightly said, that doesn't mean that you stop. It just means that you get retired, tired in a different way. We know something of your plans for the coming months, centred around family, centred around art. But do take the time just to stop from this active and daring ministry and learn to be Mark again. You've earned it. Pray for us, and we shall continue to pray for you.
Because I. 'Cause 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 I. ' it's easier than being perched behind them. But you'll understand now why I say, in terms of music, I just fiddle. Because when you have musicians like that in your family and amongst your friends, you don't need to do it yourself. Gosh, I have to say, I began my sermon saying I was sort of at a loss because I didn't know quite what to say, because there's so much to say. But in terms of, all of you gathered here this afternoon, there are people from every part of my ministry, and for those who weren't here in the service, this is just a sort of me scribbling by way of just remembering for myself, really. But it has been such a rich and wonderful and blessed time these last 36 years. Well, I'd take it to the 40, really, because when I was at college up in Manchester, for the first summer we did a sort of summer pastorate, student placement, and I went to a little church in Wirksworth in Derbyshire, who were gracious enough to accept what I had to offer. And I used to go back probably once every month, really, for the rest of my time at college. So that adds a bit more on. Although it began in, I'm trying to think, was it Great Missenden? Princess Risborough, there you go, memory's gone. Princess Risborough Methodist Church in Buckinghamshire was where I first preached, and from where a sermon went off to somewhere in the URC, and they decided it wasn't that bad, so they might be able to do something with me after 4 years training. So that's where it did all start. Apart from the piano stool I had here earlier, which doesn't really count. But this is places, this is groups, organisations, committees, people, churches, all sorts that I have engaged with over those years. And as I say, it's really just a scribbling, because the important bit has been engaging with people. In terms of people, I really just want to say, because I've said really a lot in my sermon, so I don't want to repeat any of that, but I want to say 3 thank yous. First of all, I want to say thank you to my family. I couldn't have done what I've done without them. Judy is obviously a key part, because she's been part of this journey from the outset. But I want to say a special thank you to Rachel over there, and Adam, who's up there, and Ruth, who's in there. And they're all thinking, what on earth have I done? Well, the thing is, in ministry, when you move on from one place to another, it's a matter of sensing that God is saying, I want you there. And it entails conversations and prayer and all sorts of things that happen between me and Judy. But Rachel, Adam and Ruth have just had to come or go. And friends are left behind, up in a new school, a new situation, you don't know anybody, you start from scratch. And all because Dad thinks God wants him on the move. And you don't have a say in it at all. And so I want to say thank you to them. Because I don't think I was ever fully aware of the pains and the agonies that they went through. I feel like that. Can I come along? I mean, also, it's not just on the move, really, but ministry means that you usually have a whole other family. And you're it here. Some of you have been it in earlier places. But it means that that family have tended to take prior place. Perhaps they shouldn't, but you know, there are birthday parties where I might not have been around for the whole time. I've just turned up late because there was something else I had to do, or whatever it was. But I'm just aware that there are many times when the family have sacrificed an enormous amount for the ministry that God laid on me. And for them, it wasn't always a blessing. So I just want to say thank you to Rachel, Adam and Ruth, and to Judy, above all. Excuse us, we're thankful for family. Really, commit to myself. Thank you, number one, family. Thank you, number two, is to you all and all the many other folk that you represent. From churches together groups, for areas of ministry and work such as Birmingham Churches Together. There are those who are actually local. I don't know, Margaret and Dennis here? They were here earlier. They're just there. Margaret and Dennis Nicol, who are in the Methodist Church here in Solihull. But Margaret used to come and stuff newsletters in the office for Birmingham Churches Together. And then she and Dennis are very key members of the Association of Interchurch Families, which supports marriages between Roman Catholic and Protestant couples. And they were a part of my responsibility in Churches Together in England as a body association. And so there are people from all sorts of places. And I can only be thankful for all those relationships, however deep or however sort of cursory and passing they have been. Because there's been so many and so much that have enriched my life simply by saying something to me deep and meaningful about God and His love and His grace. And as I shared earlier, you know, those moments when you feel out of your depth, but you know God's grace is working somehow in a situation. It's usually through other people, and you are all amongst those. So I want to say thank you to you. But again, as hinted at earlier, really, I really didn't want today to be about me or me and Judy and all that we've shared and tried to enable here in this particular situation. but about the God who enables it all, who sparks faith in each of us. Otherwise we wouldn't be here. I always remember when we first started, because I was very keen that we engaged with particularly those who use our halls and maybe those outside the church. You know, what are the common denominators that one might sort of focus on? And we latched on to the theme of hope. And the simple fact that you don't get out of bed in the morning if you don't have hope. And we had a sort of, you call it a festival, I can't remember now. But there was a lot of artwork and stuff, and Union Theatre came and sang and did all sorts of things. But whatever we did, it was just an expression of what God has sown in our lives, the seeds of hope. And goodness me, do we need it now. And so, behind it all is a deep gratitude to God for enabling me to have such a rich life and ministry. And if in any way I've been able to help others along the way, I might, just might, accept a little responsibility, but I would want to give the majority to God and His grace and His love, who has sustained us all. So that's 3 thank yous. Remember that bit. Some people have seen this in miniature, but I thought, you've given me gifts generously, but at the risk of wanting to prolong my stay in your presence, I thought I needed to leave something behind. Not so that I can come back and claim it, but it's a gift. A little earlier, we referred to God who is the potter, who creates and makes and moulds and reshapes and demolishes and builds up again and all the rest of it. And we had the image on the screen, but this is the original and this is yours. It's not worth a hangman. I'll just read what I put on the wall, because that's what our thing means. Like clay in the hand of the potter, so are you in my hand. That's words from Jeremiah. With gratitude to God who has reshaped us as we journeyed together with Christ over the past 8 years. Or you can put your own figure in there if it's longer. But that's my sort of message really to you. Thank you and thank you to God. We're going to close because I'm conscious that we're moving on Tuesday. The church is moving on. Other churches are moving on. God never has us stand still. And so we need God's blessing. And so the blessing we're to hear now is my prayer for you all. And I dare to hope that it might be your prayer for Judy and I.
What more can be said? Thank you. Thank you, Mark, Judy. Safe home. Cheers. Bye.